morning from Vietnam, Professor Rao. Thanks a lot for spending your early morning joining our Inside Sharing show and sharing your stories with our global audience. And on behalf of the listeners around the world, I want to say thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's indeed an honor to be interviewed by you. And you are from Vietnam, and I am from India, and I'm excited to connect with you.
Professor Rao, I really admire your journey and I really admire the achievements that you've been having. And it's a great honor for us to have you on our show. And this show is dedicated to share your stories with our audience around the world so that we can find, we can learn from your journey, from your experience, and we can know why you are doing what you are doing, what motivates you, what inspires you to doing that. So along the way, our listener can pick up something for them to learn, to reflect, to think, to apply in their lives. And that is the whole purpose of this conversation in the program. So thank you for spending this time.
Thank you for inviting. So let me share with my story, my journey. I was born in a toxic family and grew up in a toxic environment. And I was blessed to be alive of the brain stroke in the year 2021, and I survived because of my positive psychology, because the power of subconscious mind, and because the healthy habits that I acquired from Indian Air Force. I'm Indian Air Force veteran. I'm a late bloomer with OCD, dyslexic with the ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Add to that, the brain stroke has ruined my health 2 years ago, and I have mental challenges, physical challenges, and financial challenges. I'm 59 years old with lots of challenges. I still belong to a lower middle class family in India. I don't get any pension. I don't have any regular income. So lots of challenges I'm having. Despite all the challenges, I rose like a phoenix after brainstorm. And let me share with you my challenge. I in the English is not my native language. I I started learning with my mother tongue, that is Telugu, and I was born in a tiny village, in a very remote village, and I was born in a toxic family and grew up in toxic environment. And in the childhood, I had a passion to wear uniform and serve my country. So I was 15 years old with asthma, and I was lean built. I was less than 5 feet, 5 feet, very lean built with health issues. But I wanted to serve my country. I wanted to put on uniform and serve my country. So I used to go to work slowly, started going, and at the age of 18, I joined the Indian Air Force. So yeah, at the age of, so in between what happened, and I used to work in a tea stall, which was started by my father, tea seller. So I was working in a tea stall, and so working in a tea stall, and also I was going to school. And in those days, we didn't have even a cycle. So I would go, I used to go by walk to go to far distant places to visit libraries, because right from my childhood, I have passion for acquiring knowledge. So Abraham Lincoln has been my inspiration right from my childhood. Then I used to go to far distant places because I had a strong desire to acquire knowledge. So then I was into hotel. Hotel means a tea stall. So I was with my father, and I used to clean dishes along with my father, and we worked in a, we belong to a lower poor family. Then at the age of 18, I joined Indian Air Force. And after I joined the Indian Air Force, I developed a positive attitude. I had some negative attitude because I was born in a toxic family and grew up in a toxic environment. And fortunately, I joined Indian Air Force. I developed a positive attitude, and I developed a discipline, and I acquired a couple of qualifications when I was in the Indian Air Force. I acquired the qualifications including uh, uh, DME, BSc, MA, MBA, PGDCLL, PGDBM, and the seventh qualification I earned PhD in soft skills in the year 2011. Then what happened when I was doing it? My father-in-law invited me to join business. Then I joined business, but I was betrayed by my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. So that was one more challenge. I was backstabbed by my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. So lots of challenges. Then what I did was I left the business after serving for around 12 to 13 years. Then I became a faculty member because I didn't have money and no resources, nothing. But I was passionate about education. Then I became a faculty member. Then I earned my PhD in the year 2011. So far I am connecting the dots so that I want to share my story in a structured and well-formed story. Okay. So then after I became a faculty member, and I earned my PhD in the year 2011. Then I started writing books, and I lived in the single bedroom apartment, a rented one. We didn't have even a bed. We slept on the floor. My wife, me, and my two sons. We had so many financial challenges. So we slept without even bed. So very in single bedroom rented flat for more than a decade. So we had a lot of challenges, but I had to provide education for my two sons. These were the challenges I underwent in my life. And then what happened? In the I think 2010, I started writing books because 2007 I joined as a faculty member. 2010 I started writing books, and I discovered my passion for writing. And one more thing I would like to share with you was that when I was in the childhood itself, I was writing with my although there was no paper, I used to write on the body. So I was thinking that I had a disease. Later on, I discovered that it was not a disease. I had passion for writing. So I was writing on my body. That was the situation. So I discovered that I had passion for writing. Then I started writing. So 2010, I started writing books, and now we are in 2023. So I have authored 52 books, including the award-winning book titled See the Light, for which the Nobel laureate, His Holiness Dalai Lama, has written a foreword.
Wow.
So far, this is the story of my life with lots of challenges, with lots of betrayals, with financial struggles, and I still have financial challenges. I don't have two-wheeler, I don't have four-wheeler. I, I go by walk. I was lucky to be alive of the brain stroke, so let me share with you. But despite all the challenges, troubles, I never gave up. I rose like a phoenix and I started sharing my knowledge. And my vision is to build 1 million students as global leaders by 2030, and which is a non-profit initiative I started, and I started this Vision 2030 1 million global leaders. It's a non-profit one for which the first woman IPS officer, Dr. Kiran Bedi, has written a foreword for this book. I would like to show you that book also. This is a very amazing book. This is the book Vision 2030, 1 million global leaders,
Wow.
for which Dr. Kiran Bedi has written a foreword, and I have dedicated this book to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Is the former president of India. And so far, I have trained around 50,000 students as global leaders, and which is a non-profit one. I have 4 blogs and 2 YouTube channels. I'm very strong on social media. So I'm passionate about sharing my knowledge. I keep sharing my knowledge. Even today, although I don't have money, but I keep sharing my knowledge. I want to add value and make a difference in the lives of others. This is the journey of my life so far.
Beautiful, beautiful. Professor Rao, despite all the challenges that you've been going through, the mental, the physical, the spiritual challenges that you've been, and the financial also, you came out very proactive, very, you try to, you always demonstrate, overcoming your challenges and become getting better. So this conversation, let me carry and let me travel time with you back in time. All right. So you in the toxic environment, what was your dream when you was young about your future, though?
Even I was not much thinking about future because I was struggling to survive. Because at the age of 18, I had a passion to serve my country. So I
Mm.
was struggling a lot, and but I had a dream to serve my country. So I joined Indian Air Force, and luckily, as I said, I after I became after I joined military, I developed a positive attitude, and I came out of the negative environment, and I started growing as a healthy citizen. So, in fact, I was lucky that I came out of my toxic parents and toxic siblings, and I started growing as a healthy citizen.
Mm.
And people often get into a wrong zone or a wrong environment when they have challenges. But I was very optimistic. I wanted to do something for myself and also for people. And subsequently, I started thinking about students. That's how the journey has started. But whatever it is that everything happens for a reason. I
Oh,
think in that way. Everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe. So God is great. God is kind, and I was lucky that I survived after brain stroke. Doctors thought that I won't survive. Let me. I did tell you. I had during the second lockdown in India, COVID. I had COVID. Then suddenly I collapsed. My right portion of the body was collapsed. I didn't know what to do. Then my wife took me to hospital, that is ICU. Then I was admitted and I lost my memory for some time because I lost a problem with my short-term memory, and because it was stroke to my brain. So that was the problem. So even 2 years, still I'm struggling to get back to normalcy. Actually, I'm a basically creative writer, but I am not able to write because I can't type with my right hand. So what I started doing, I was requesting people to interview me because interview means when you can ask something, I can respond. So I can share my knowledge through YouTube.
oh,
That's the best way. So I reinvented myself. I
mm.
didn't lose my hope. I didn't give up. So I requesting people like you to interview me. So people were coming and they were interviewing, and I was being interviewed. That's how the things are going. Because even today I can't write. I'm basically creative writer. I type with my right hand. So these were the challenges I had. But and I was, after I came from the hospital
Mm.
ICU, then I took physiotherapy exercises, and gradually I started walking, and I am able to walk now. But right hand is still problematic. For 2 years, doctors said that it may take around 2 years to get back to the normalcy, because already I am 50 years old. Survival rate is very remote in my case, because it adversely affected my brain. So this was the challenge. Even I was struggling. I had a brain fog. I had so lots of challenges were there, but I
Professor Ram,
somehow.
I hope that the recovery will the recovering process will go faster, and so that you can get back to normal, and I hope all the best to you. um in the world, if a lot of people when facing with challenges and trauma like this, they tend to give up. They tend to blame life, blame what happened to them, right? But you came out and set a new goal, set very big vision to for to overcome those kind of challenges. Tell us, where did you find those strengths to motivate yourself, to inspire you to do something differently like this?
Uh, the thing is very clear. I am basically a very optimistic person. One. Second thing, I know the power of subconscious mind. So when I had brain stroke collapse, I started unlocking my inner power. That is the power of subconscious mind.
Hmm.
So I leveraged the power of subconscious mind and I get back to the track. So why I am able to pull off, because of the power of the subconscious mind. That's one.
Hmm.
Second thing, I wake up morning 4 o'clock every day. Night 10 o'clock I sleep. So throughout the day I keep myself engaged. That's how I do it. So usually, what I do was that people often blame others, they criticize others, condemn others. It's a wrong thing. You have to be very optimistic. Let bygones be bygones. So I was born in a toxic family. So what we can do, we can't have. There are certain things which are not our control. We can only think about the things which are within our control. That's what I believe. Okay, so somehow I came out of the toxic environment, challenges, everything, and I wake up morning 4 o'clock and night 10 o'clock I sleep. In between, I take a break for 1 hour. That's how I do it, despite having all the challenges. So morning when I wake up, one day before the night, I feed in my mind. What I am supposed to do the following day. For example, we are having an interview. So I planned it one day before night itself, because next day morning, that means I am having an interview with you. So then I fed my subconscious mind that tomorrow we have. So I fed my subconscious mind. So I did some research about you, and I came to know. I've seen a couple of videos how you are doing it. This is how I do it. I have seen a couple of videos. People usually don't take seriously, but I'm very serious in the sense I'm very committed and dedicated. So I have seen maybe around 7 to 8 videos I have seen before being interviewed by you. So you can understand how much commitment I have to my profession and for my work. So one day before I saved all the videos, links, everything about you, and then prepared. And before going to bed, I think about it. Okay, because to avoid any kind of confusion from my mind, because especially after the post brain stroke. So I was taking more care. So then I
Preparation.
tried everything. Next day morning I woke up.
Hmm.
Then you have interviewed. So this is the story. So why I survived is because of my positive attitude, and because of the power of subconscious mind, and
No.
because the healthy habits that I kept from Indian military. Because morning 4 o'clock I eat, night 10 o'clock I sleep. So what I do usually, my routine is morning I 4 o'clock I get up, I read. Not now. Earlier I used to do. I used to read, write, and I was writing books like that. I was doing before brainstorm. So that's how I do it. And throughout the morning, I am the creator. That means I create things. And throughout the day, I am the generator. That means I add everything and synthesize everything, and I generate more and more content, more knowledge, everything I create. And in the evening, I remove unwanted things, unwanted people from my mind. That means I eliminate negative ideas, negative activities. So let me put it precisely. Early morning, I am a creator. Throughout the day, I am the generator. In the night, I am the destroyer. Destroyer means I don't destroy the individuals. I destroy the negative aspects, negative things, and fill my mind with positive thoughts and be prepared for the following. That's how I do it. So why I am successful? Because I have clean routine in a day, and I don't go outside somewhere. I'm with my wife. Basically a family man. So I go to gym, I read, then I stay at home. That's how I do it, and I don't have any other activities. So there is no room for toxicity in my case, and I have already removed negative people, negative ideas from my mind. This is the reason why I am successful, and this is the reason why I have come up to this level.
So Professor Rao, what is the advice you want to give to people when they face challenge so that they can come out strong?
As I told you, know, you have to be very positive and let bygones be bygones, and everything happens for a reason. And when you look at some of the leaders, I get inspired by getting inspiring people like Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, then His Holiness Dalai Lama. I get inspired by these people. So because of all these things, and also because of my continuous reading, so I came out of all kind of negative things, negative aspects. I started focusing more. I'm very proactive throughout the day. I know how to utilize my time judiciously to make a better world. I know how to make use of my precious time to add value and make a difference in the lives of others. This is the secret of my success. Avoid negative people, and avoid controversies, avoid toxic environment, toxic people, because life is very fragile. Especially after the brain stroke, I realized before brain stroke, I was taking the life for granted. But after the COVID, things have changed. I realized that life is very fragile. So we have to learn to live every moment in such a way that we enjoy ourselves and also add value and make a difference in the lives of others.
Wow. Professor Rao, you say that you start the writings in 2010. So it's 13 years, and then you write 50 plus books already. So
Yeah.
it looks like that every year you write 3 4 books every year. So and a normal person, that a lot of them cannot even write one book in their whole lifetime, right? So tell me what how did you figure out your passion for writing, Professor Rao?
As I told, your question has got the answer. I told you when I was in childhood, I discovered my passion for writing. I was writing on my body when there was no paper. So I was writing on my body. I was thinking that I had some disease. Then later on, I realized that I was passionate about writing. But I was in military, I could not do. But I was writing a diary. I maintain a diary and journal. Both are different. So I was writing right from my childhood to today. So those things and my healthy habits helped me to come up to this level. Now coming to this point of 52 books. Actually, I have written 60 books. 50 have been published some 2 months back, and two books are published now. Because 2 years I was on the bed and I was not well. I'm recovering too. Still, I have 80 books, but I have to edit and update my books because I take medicines twice a day. So sometimes I sleep, I wake up, then again I do. That's how I started doing. Still, 8 books are there pending to be written. I have to edit and do it, but I get the stress if I focus too much. So I once I get back to the normalcy, so I still have 8 books to write. Okay, so once I complete, it may take 2 years, 3 years. I will publish these books. And let me share with you that I wanted to write a book on war and strategy, like the art of war, because I am basically a voracious reader. So let me share with you that I'm a voracious reader and prolific author, and I have read thousands of books during my lifetime. Like Hitler's book also I read, then Mindfulness, Leadership, Mahatma Gandhi's book, all kinds of books I read. Man's Search for Meaning. So these kind of books I have read. I have read various types of books. So that helped me to have some basic knowledge of various aspects of life. So I started, I have knowledge from various multiple sources. I synthesize and create my own content. This is the secret to my success, and this is my strategy. And let me share with you that I want to write a book, either a memoir, my challenges, my health issues, and also I would like to share my how I was born and how I was betrayed, backstabbed my father-in-law, brother-in-law, all those things I'm going to share it. But it may take 1 to 2 years to get back to the field. Once I get back to the field, I'll write a book, a memoir. If you look at Barack Obama, he wrote a memoir. So nowadays people are writing memoir. They are taking one particular idea and they are writing memoirs. Like that, I want to write a memoir, I wanted to write a book on strategy and war. I wrote off the way, then I collapsed. So I think I'll pick up my threads and write complete a book on war and the strategy. Then I'll write a book on a memoir about my challenges, all those things I would like to share.
Wow. Wow. Professor Rao, along the way, you read books in varieties of subjects so that you can learn the basic the fundamental groundworks, and then from there you evolve and writing your own stuff. So thanks for sharing the secrets for that one, right? But then you wrote the book see the light in see the light in you, and that is a winning book, and that's not easy. So, so yeah, congratulations for that great achievement. Okay, tell us how what leading you to write that book at the beginning.
Good, good. Thank you for asking a very wonderful question. Mm, I'm basically passionate about the students because I wrote various kinds of books on students, leadership, executive education, mindfulness, uh, learning, training, development, CEOs, like that. I wrote books. So when I was in a college, I came across that some students, young teenagers, they were committing suicide in India because of the examination pressure and the various other reasons. I felt very bad how to go about. So an idea, what are the ideas I get, I, actually I have one triggers box. That means what are the triggers I get, I jot down and keep it aside, and I'll work on them whenever I find time. That's how I do it. So what happened when I was in a college and student suicides were crazy. I felt very bad how to go about. Then I got a trigger that flashed on my mind. So let me work on that because I am basically passionate about education and learning and students. Then I started working. Then I wrote about the suicides in India. Then I started writing about mindfulness, then wellness, how organizations can add value, and how they can focus on this burnout, uh, stress, all those things, how to tame the monkey mind. So all these things I have mentioned in chapters because I have the habit of taking each idea and making small documents. Then I started elaborating. Then I read a book titled see the light in you. Then I am basically persistent by nature. Then I requested His Holiness Dalai Lama to write a foreword for my book, because this book is about mindfulness. For this book, the correct person is only His Holiness Dalai Lama. Every book is unique. Every book has got a specific theme. Then I thought, for this book, the ideal person who can write a foreword is His Holiness Dalai Lama. Then I requested His Holiness Dalai Lama to write a foreword, and he said, "You send the manuscript, I'll check it." Then I sent the entire manuscript, because they will verify and clarify the things. Then he has read it and appreciated it. Then he agreed to write a foreword. Then my book, this is the journey of my book titled "See the Light in You." It has been published. Then what happened? Once the book was published, and I requested His Holiness Dalai Lama to invite me to come and gift this book, copy of this copy. Then what happened? Then COVID has started at that time. So this is not the ideal time to, because COVID, this is 2019, 2019, I think, 2020, the problems started. It's COVID in India and across the world. This is not the right time to visit that our place where His Holiness Dalai Lama was. Then I didn't get the opportunity to gift the copy to His Holiness Dalai Lama. This is how the journey has come with His Holiness Dalai Lama.
Did you give him a copy?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent the copy, but I sent because whenever we get whenever someone writes where someone writes a foreword, we send a complimentary copy to that person. This is a courtesy on our part, and especially His Holiness Dalai Lama is very special. So I sent the copy. And I wanted to meet him again, but it doesn't work out because of the COVID and other things some 2 years back. Then again, what happened? I have one more book is yet to be published. That book I have dedicated to His Holiness Dalai Lama. That is about I think spiritual tourism, I think, or spirituality. So that book I have already dedicated. So once I get the copy, maybe a month or 2 months, I will again request His Holiness Dalai Lama to invite me so that I can go and meet and give a complimentary copy of the book, which I have dedicated to His Holiness Dalai Lama.
So, what is the book "See the Light in You" about?
This book covers various aspects of mindfulness. Let me briefly explain about mindfulness. I will briefly explain about mindfulness. People often think about the future that we can't predict. Okay, and people often think about the past that can't be reversed. So you must learn to live in the present. Okay, and research shows very clearly that people waste 30% of their precious time by thinking about their unpleasant past. That doesn't have any sense. So and don't think too much about the future, because if COVID comes or anything can happen at any time. So what you have to do is learn to live in the present. This is the message of this one. Then I also talked about at the end of the book, I talked about happiness lies within us, not elsewhere. People often search for stones by leaving gems at home. We are gems. We have the potential. We have the power. Okay, don't search for stones elsewhere. We are the gems. We have our own potential, everything. So don't search for happiness elsewhere. Happiness lies within us, not elsewhere. Then these are the aspects I talked. And also one of the chapters is about Bhutan. I talked about, because Bhutan is a very tiny country that emphasizes on mindfulness. And that they measure through gross GDP usually. That is a conventional word. Everybody uses GDP. what Bhutan talks about is happiness. It talks about happiness. Bhutan. Of course, there are some countries there like Finland,
Mm.
and some of the countries there I think are number and the I have forgotten some few days back. So I think Finland. I think that's the number one country in the world. Very happiness index. So rankings can change. So when you look at Bhutan, they are happy not because of the wealth, but they're happy in terms of their heart and their contribution. So like that, then I on one of the chapters I talked about a monkey mind because people are not stable. Their mind wanders here and there. So we need to tame the monkey mind. We should have stable, steady mind so that we can focus clearly and keep moving.
Mm.
So we should tame this monkey mind, I also talked about social media because social media is required because you can't get out of you can't get out of social media because social media is required, but you must use social media judiciously,
Mm.
not at the cost of various other issues. So, harnessed technology for social good, for global good. That's one chapter. So then one chapter talks about mindfulness, and one chapter talks about meditation. One chapter talks about yoga. Yoga is very famous in the world. Our present Honorable Prime Minister of India, Dr. Narendra Modi, he emphasizes on yoga. Yoga is not a religion. Let us not get confused. It's a universal. Yoga is universal, very ancestral one. So one chapter talks about yoga, and one chapter talks about mindfulness. So these are all the things we talked about.
Mm. Professor Rao, our human beings, we thirst for happiness, and
Yeah.
we live our life trying to be happy, try to find the happiness, but a lot of us living out there are not happy.
Hmm.
We think about what happened in the past that haunting us. We worry about the future and we forget living at the present moment, like you say. And one of the specific person that I really love how dear in my life is my mom. She has everything that she should be happy for, and then the worriness, the overthinking, the past, and everything that that make her feel like not really enjoy what happened at the present. And so I'm bringing her case up as an example. So you're an expert in this area. What would people like her should be doing so that they would be able to enjoy the moment more, and then they would be able to find the happiness and the light inside of them? Can you share some tips that we can share with them?
I hope I have already shared some of the aspects and tips that covers about this
Mm.
happiness. So let me add one value in this regard is I admire Marcus Aurelius, and he emphasizes stoicism, and he was a philosopher and a king, and he was one of the best generals and one of the leaders who emphasizes on mindfulness. I'm telling some 2000 years back he talked about stoicism. So he also talks about more or less the same only. This is happiness. Learn to live in the present. Don't worry about the things which are beyond control, and stop overthinking. People think too much unnecessary. We should avoid overthinking. We should think reasonably to the extent so that you can find meaning to your life.
Mm.
Even if you look at, let me recall Man Search for Meaning. Okay, that book was written by a person when he was a Holocaust survivor. Okay, so he also talked about things. More or less, it's also related to this things. He also told that the Holocaust survivor, what he said was that there are things which are beyond our control. Don't think about it, because this is a Holocaust survivor had he was when during the Hitler time he was put in the concentration camp, and he was only offered a cup of soup. He was very lean and pale, but he survived. Why he survived was that he was very positive, optimistic. I don't read Man Search for Meaning, that author's name right now, it's not flashing in my mind because the brainstorm. I also admire him. So these are all the things what we have to learn. Suffering is an integral part of life. So you have to be resilient, and you should learn from suffering. And what can't be cured must be endured. I repeat this quote: "What can't be cured must be endured." In the sense, now I can't. I have whatever the health challenges I'm having. That only I know it. Even my wife doesn't know. You don't know. Nobody knows it. Only I know it because I am suffering. I know the problem. Okay, so suffering is an integral part of life. So you have to accept it. So you should find your own ways and means to find happiness, and don't run behind money. Money comes and goes. Happiness is the thing. There are rich people. They are not happy. There are so many divorces, breakups, so many issues that the people are having a lot of money, but still they are not happy. So people often think that somebody has got money, he or she will be happy. It's not in that way. You can be happy only when you learn to live in the present, without thinking about the unpleasant past, without thinking excessively about the future, and learn to live in the present. This is how the takeaway from this. This is the answer for your question.
But how can we get the past out of our head, the future out of our head, and just focusing on the present? That's not easy, Professor Rao.
Yeah, yeah. It is easier said than done.
Uh-huh.
It's not easy. I have problems. It's easy to tell. Okay, but this is the reality of life. We have to accept the realities. I had a trauma. I had brain stroke. Now I have to accept it. So we have to find our own ways to keep ourselves happy despite the challenges. Whether it was said by Marcus Aurelius or Holocaust survivor or whosoever does it. So we should find our own way. You should let bygones be bygones. Don't think too much about these things. So these are all the basic things. You must stick to it. So one of the things what you can do is engage yourself productively, creatively, so that you don't think about these unwanted things. As I told you in this interview, that at the age of 18, I joined Indian Air Force. I had negative ideas. After I joined the Indian Air Force, I developed a positive attitude. So when you have a positive attitude, you remove unwanted ideas from your mind, and you replace your negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And let me share with one more thing. When you look at people, human mind thinks mostly they get negative ideas, and we can't help it. Research shows very clearly that we think about the people often think about negative things like pornography, gaming, all those unwanted things. People often talk about. So these are the things we should avoid, right? So that you will be mindful, you can engage your mind productively, and above all, set goals. When you have goals, you stay clearly focused. I have goals. I have some goals. in my life. So like that, when you have goals, what happens? You remove negative things and replace negative thoughts with positive things. And secondly, you keep going in the right direction. You'll be mindful. You can come out of this wandering mind, monkey mind. So all those things you can overcome, and you can stay focused. So on an hours, I think 8 to 10 hours, I am engaging myself. I'm engaging myself intellectually, mentally. So I'm engaging myself. So we need to find our own ways and means to engage productive in a right way. So that you have to channel your energies in the right way. So when you do so, the negative thoughts will go away. You can get out of the negative environment. So these are all the basic tools. It's the essence of my philosophy, right? So these are all the things I'm sharing it with you, whether it's your mother, how to find out happiness, and in my case, how I find my happiness. I'm happy because I'm adding value to you. I'm happy. I don't have money. I don't have resources. I don't have. My left hand is problem. Internet issues are there. So many. I have MS Word document issues are there. So many issues are there. So many challenges are there. But still, I'm happy because I have commitment. Just so and so time I have to be available for you. This is my commitment.
Wow.
A few hours.
Beautiful.
A few hours back. Few hours back, I had some other commitment. Then I had to fulfill the commitment, and I went somewhere else for some work, and I went by a walk for around 2 kilometers. Then came in the night. Then next day morning, then again 4 o'clock I had to get up for this, and I think 6 o'clock we are having interview. No, I think between 6:30 or so Indian time. I don't know exactly. Yeah, it's going to be. I think going to be 7 o'clock in the morning in India. So it keeps life keeps going. So be positive and let bygones be bygones. This is what I tell to everyone. My life is a journey, and there are many things people can learn from my experience because I have 59 years of experience.
Yeah.
59 years of diversified experience, including military, business, teaching, training, philosophy, book writing, and speaking, all those things. So I've clubbed everything and I'm sharing with it with you. So
Thank you. Professor Rao, I have two last questions for this conversation.
yeah.
All right.
Now,
And my wife and I, we've been on the quest to help people think better because we believe that every change, every good change, starts from the right kind of thinking. All right. You've been ranked by Thinkers 360 as global top one, number one influencers on the top leader influencers.
entrepreneurship,
Yeah,
entrepreneurship,
entrepreneurship.
entrepreneurship.
Yes. Teach us how have you been helping you to improve your ability to think over the years?
Could you, I beg your pardon, could you paraphrase my
Yes.
question?
Can you teach us how have you been helping yourself to expand your ability to think?
Uh, uh, yeah, it's a very great question. Uh, you mean to say how to expand myself? You mean to
Yes.
say? Huh? See, I'm happy with what I am doing. I'm happy being ethical and mindful. I always I have two sons. I raised my two sons mindfully and ethically, and they are following the right path. So this is what I shared with my sons. Even in my case also, I'm very happy with my life despite challenges. Why I'm happy? Because I live in the present, do whatever the best I can do. If the time is very limited, we must find out ways and means to add value and make a difference in the lives of others. You can't change the entire world, but whatever the little bit you can do it. When you look at Mother Teresa, uh, see a drop is a drop in the ocean makes a huge difference. In the sense, what Mother Teresa said was that. try to be happy, and whatever the best you can do, maybe a drop in the ocean, whatever the best is possible, add value and make a difference. That's what uh, Mother Teresa said. This point resonates with my thinking. This is what I feel about Mother Teresa. See, a drop is incomplete without the ocean. So that even the tiny drop matters a lot. So we must do the best is possible. So that's what I also believe. I can't expand at this
Hmm.
present moment because of the health issues, limitation. I don't know how long I live. I don't know, but whatever is possible, I will do my best. I can't expand right now, but I learn to live in the present and happy with what I am. I do my best as far as possible. If God gives me little more time, then I can add value. Precisely, I am living on a borrowed time.
Yeah.
My time is limited.
We all are.
Uh,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs has once said his time was limited. Steve Jobs said once his time was limited. Even my time is limited, and maybe 10 years, 20 years, I don't know how far it is. It depends on God. Obviously. But whatever is possible, whatever the best possible, I will try to help the people, make a difference, and I want to to build a better world. I would like to share a couple of messages. Eliminate ego, emphasize empathy. Empathy is required, okay,
Hmm.
and express gratitude. So these are the basic tenets I refer related to my wife, related to myself. So these are all the things I am sharing them with you. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The last question. You've been, helping people to grow. You've been helping yourself, the people around you, to see lies in themselves and lies in others, right? What is that the one thing, the one light you want to see in the world now?
Always look at the rising sun, not the setting sun.
Ah,
Let me repeat. Always look at the raising the sun, not the setting the sun. Every dark cloud has a silver lining, and every book is unique. As I said, I give a message for each book. So this book, every book has important for me. This book emphasizes the philosophy of health first, education second, and wealth third.
hmm,
So we should emphasize on health first, education second, and wealth third. We shouldn't have any wrong priority. Only when you are healthy, so make yourself comfortable, and you'll be able to health first. Then second, you need to have education. Education helps you. It opens the wind. Education helps open the world. Okay. So in second, third thing, wealth is required because we can't survive without money. Money is required for survival, for basic things. And if you get surplus, then that's fair enough. So the slogan from this particular conversation is that health first, education second, and wealth third.
beautiful. So health always comes first. So make sure that if you can be in good health, then you can help ourselves, then you will be able to help others, right? Professor Ra, thanks a lot for beautiful conversations. I really admire and respect all the efforts you put out to overcome those challenges, get out that strong, and also help people to see the light in their life and be better selves themselves. I wish you all the best. I wish the situations and the recovery get better faster for you, so that you will be able to continue, giving the best of yourself to others. And I hope
So
one day you'll be able to see you. All right.
so let me give you a message at the end. Everything is possible in this world. Never ever give up. Okay, life is great. Thank you. With gratitude.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.